I'm your host, the Mandalorian, the X-Wing Jesus. This is Baby Yoda, Grogu, got that right that time I think. Anyway, this is the 2020 year review for Star Wars. This is part 2 and we're going to be concentrating on tabletop gaming and what came out this year for us all. So let's start the episode off with X-Wing. Back in January we had a big release of things coming out. The most interesting one out of that was Von Reg's tie. So that was pretty nifty. There was a PS6 in there, Major Von Reg. So everybody thought he's going to be the new Suntier. Didn't quite turn out that way, but it's still quite a powerful ship. Very, very flimsy, you know, glass cannon, typical glass cannon. Lots of fun to fly. I ended up flying 4 of those this year, just for fun, trying to make them work and that. But I completely understand the ship now, but it's a bit too flimsy, that one. Anyway, also for First Order, there was the Z Shuttle, which, unless you're flying a TIE Swarm, is not all that good, I don't think. They're quite tough in a TIE Swarm. Well, First Order TIE Swarm, that is. But there we go. Other than that, we had at the same time, we had the Fireball came out at the start of the year as well, which I've not really seen that much of that really. There was quite a bit of System Open. I think was playing alongside a game going on where somebody had 7 of those and they were doing pretty well with them. Not really flown it myself. I've got one of those. Not flown it at all, so don't know if it is actually any good or not. Other than that, the Resistance got Heralds of Hope, which is really good as a starter set if you're looking to buy into Resistance. Get into that, buy 2 of them, and you're pretty much set. Properly pretty good. Also, there was a lot of stuff in there for Rebels as well, particularly if you fly A-Wings or X-Wings. There's a few extra cards. The A-Wing Slash, I'd have liked to have seen at least 2 of those in there, but there was only 1. So just to help the Rebels out a little bit, and there was all sorts of little bits and pieces in there for X-Wings. So you had the backwards tail slide, I believe, was one of those things. That was actually from Resistance cartoon, as well as Fireball and Von Reg's tie. Not a great series, that one, but there we go. So that was pretty much it for that for Resistance. Although there was a few bits and pieces that we got in Hot Shots. So whereas we got Heralds of Hope gave Rebels a few extra cards that they're desperately needing to do something to the Rebels because they've been unlucky enough not to have any releases. And we're talking about new ships, not the old stuff. We're talking new ships. Because you don't get any new cards in the old ships that are released, unfortunately. But there we go. We do like the new paint jobs, but it's quite tough to justify buying a ship you've already maxed out on for 200 points that's just got a new paint job, and that's it. But anyway, so the Rebels got that. They got quite a few extras in the Hot Shots, which they desperately needed, but not really seem to have done that much to listen that. It's got very static with the Rebels. They did have K2SO as a U-Wing in the Hot Shots, also as a crew card as well. Alexander Callas from Rebels as well in the VCX. Gina Moonsong, don't know where that one came from, but that one's in a B-Wing. And also Leia Organa in a Millennium Falcon. So at one point I think people were messing around with 2 Falcons again. Leia in one and Lando in the other. Which seems like it's a good idea, but didn't really catch on that one. As well as that, so we might as well carry on with Hot Shots. Hot Shots was kind of the release of the year for for First Order and for Rebels. If you played either of them, it was sort of like, right, we've got a load of extra ships here. So I've already done the First Order. So we had Rush, which was an extra silencer. Then PS2, but it become, whilst damaged, it goes up to PS6. Thought that might be a game changer, but not really. I've been playing around with First Order, and that one, not really that fussed about that one. You just leave that one till last. It's on its own and doesn't do a lot. Generally, you get one turn at it being PS6, and that's it. But you got Lieutenant Lahus in a TIE SF, Captain Phasma in a TIE SF. Not really seen that much of either of those either. And then Captain Cardinal sounds like a superhero from Marvel, but that's flying an Upsilon. And again, not really seen that card. So none of those we've already mentioned have really changed the game in any sort of big way. It's certainly not a system open anyway. On the back of that, we'll talk about Empire. So the Imperials, they had the TIE Heavy came out. That's quite a decent, a very, very nice model. The rotating cannon on there and that was really good. But I don't think that's going to be a game changer either. I think that's a fairly balanced ship. If anything, it could do with just shaving a few points off of that. Also in Hot Shots, they got Morna Key in a Decimator. Again, not really seen anything of that being mentioned on any of the forums or anything like that. And then we look at Scum and Villainy. Again, no brand new ships coming out this year for that. Although we did have, in Hot Shots again, we had Nom Lum in the Jumpmaster. Is basically a PS1 bump master that can rotate his cannon. Not that good. I don't think it's that good anyway. I just don't shoot at it. You just go, all right, I've bumped into it. I'm not going to shoot at it because then it can shoot at me. I'll concentrate on everything else. But that's just my way of playing against it. And then G4R-Gore V/M. That is a little sick fighter. Again, I've not seen any of that in there either. And we've also had Bosk as well in a tiny Z95. I mean, Bosk sounds pretty playable. And it's a good filler for 30 points, but not really seen anybody play with him. It's just really odd. So all of those new pilots, they all sound really good, but in reality, not really seen that much table time, which is really quite strange. So moving on from there, we've got the droids. So the droids turned out to be quite a powerful faction this year. The droid swarm was horrific with all the vultures. Then we had Nantek Swarm, which everybody was banging on about this is just disgusting and nasty. We've had Droid Gunship, that came out with weird sideways movement thing going on, like a strafing run sort of thing. A Tri-Fighter, that came out. I've not seen that on the table yet at all. And Django's Fire Spray, which seems to be the release for droids for the year. That fire spray has been pretty damn good as far as I can see. We've also had for Resistance, it's been quite a big year as well. They've had some major stuff come out. We had the Lart gunship. I don't know if that's how you actually say that properly. Not a great one for me. That needs to shave some points off of that. The ETA 2 or the ETA 2, that's pretty cool. That's really good, and I really want to explore that one in the following year coming up on a table. And also the Nimbus class V-Wing, which is precursor to the TIE Fighter. So there is quite a lot there that came out this year, even though we haven't really been playing that many games. I mean, the only real big tournament of the year in terms of playing on the tables was in Britain's System Open at Milton Keynes, in the Milton Keynes system. So, and then, I got an invite for Worlds there. I did pretty well on day 2. And then it all went to snot. I bought all my tickets straight after, got all my travel, got all my hotels. Yeah, that went right down the pan. Lost money on that, but there we go. So as well as that, we had a fully loaded pack and never tell me the odds packs. Now, if you were a veteran player and had been just collecting all the, you know, majority of all the releases that came out, you really didn't need to buy these at all. They were just bit naff, really. I think we got ion bombs in one and then a couple of extra ion clouds in the other. I was very disappointed with those, but you know, if you're a newer player, there was probably quite a lot in there that you could probably make the most of. So if you're a new player coming in and you've got the core set for Christmas, I'm just going to do a little guide for you. If you've got a core set, what do you do next? So you're looking at Empire and you're looking at the Rebels. So if I was an Imperial player, you've got your 2 TIE fighters. I would add Darth Vader's TIE Advance to that. Gives you the most important pilot in the Imperial faction to your roster. So yeah, TIE Advanced, and then I would either just have a TIE Defender or a Decimator to that and just have some fun with those ships. Brilliant. If you're a Rebel, you've got your 1 X-Wing. What I would do is I'd buy the Millennium Falcon because that is by far the best ship going as a fan. You know, and you're not looking to play competitively at the moment, but there's there's some really good pilots in there. You've got Han Solo, Lando, you've also got Chewie, and as I've said in Hot Shots, you also get Leia as a pilot. So Millennium Falcon, really good, and as the 3rd ship, I would get a Y-Wing, and that comes with turrets on there that you can outfit that with. Those 3 ships are pretty good. So now on to Star Wars Legion. So it's a really good place at the moment, Legion. There's everything in that set is playable. Really, really good. So you started off Empires versus Rebels. That core set was really good. Out of stock most of the year, but has come back into stock. There are plenty of them around. Same with the Republican Separatist set. We've now got, and both of those factions have pretty much caught up with the Empire and Rebels. So it's really, really good place at the moment, and more of the stuff that's been out of stock is coming back into stock. We've had the Death Troopers that are massively, really people were after them. The same with Shore Troopers. People wanted them in big numbers. They are now back in the shops, and everybody's happy. So what came out this year then? So Rebels and Empire, not a lot really, but we've had points changes and things have gone up and down, and really it's really, really playable. So in terms of Imperial squads that have come out, I think we've only had the 2. So we've had Iden Versio with a little droid from Inferno squad. So I don't know what that was, but that's the little droid flying around over her shoulder. But anyway, so you've got Iden Versio as a commander / operative, and then we had Inferno squad as well. So those both really good models, as you would expect, and really, really playable as well. That's the big thing with Legion. It's a very playable game. For the Rebels as well, they've only had 2 sort of like sets, but they've had Cassian Andor with K2SO. That's brilliant. Oh, I love that. I think they probably had the droid escape pod as well, and the Imperials had the bunker. So there was quite, although there's only been a couple of releases, there is quite a lot there. Although I don't really see why people get the Imperial bunker. It's just like, it's too expensive. I'd only buy that if it was on sale, half price. And also the Rebels have had Clan Ren, which Awesome. Mando's on the table. So there we go. They're really, really good. Clan Ren were quite difficult to get hold of, but they've all come back into stock and are doing really well. The bigger ones, the better releases that we've had have been for the Rebel and the Separatists. So the Republic, did I say Rebel? I meant Republic. Right, so for the Republic, we've had the Sabre class tank, which was a big one when that came out. A lot of really good paint jobs online. If you just click around, you'll see all these amazing things that people have done with that. The Phase 2 Clone Troopers, there's been Padme, ARC Troopers, ATRT, Anakin and Republic Specialists, which kind of fleshed out those very first lot of stormtroopers. They're not stormtroopers, they're clone troopers. They're better than stormtroopers. They fleshed out the first lot of clone troopers with more weapons options, things like that. And for the Separatists, it's much the same sort of way around. We had the B2 Super Battle Droids, which nobody could get hold of. Trade Federation tank, Cad Bane, Droid Commandos, Darth Maul, woo, Stap Riders, and Separatist Specialists. So they're obviously the battle droids, the first battle droids from the core box, fleshed them out with extra weapons as well. And so there we go. For Legion, although we've not really played many games, again on TTS, people are getting games in. So that's been pretty good. There's a lot of stuff online and that, battle reports and things like that, keeping everything going. Same with X-Wing as well. But there you go, that's mainly that. I think it's been a really good year for Legion. I think it's going to be an even better year next year when we can actually play some games on some tables, get some tournaments. So, if you're a new player to Legion, what's the best thing you can do? Probably, if you're on a budget, I would find a friend or buy half of a box online with somebody else. If somebody's selling half a box because they want the clones or they only want the stormtroopers or something like that, just go for one faction and collect as much out of that faction as you want. The best thing about this, all hobbying, you don't have to paint stormtroopers all white. You can go whatever colour you like. Everybody's done it. There's pink troopers, red troopers, you name it, purple ones, anything. Do what you like, knock your socks off. People like it anyway. Make it yours. This is your Star Wars. All right, hobbying is a big part of this game. But like I say, if you've got a mate, you buy a box each and then swap out the parts to each other with the opposite factions. Yeah, do that. Other than that, go online. Beyond the core box, I would just go what you want to buy. Don't worry about the game because it will settle itself out. Just buy what you want to buy, or you can buy if they've run out, and just go with it. Just make it yours. Just have a good time with it. Last but not least, we have Armada. Now, I don't know of that many people that traditionally have played this at my own club anyway. I know there are quite a lot of other players there that play as either a second or third game to Legion and X-Wing. That's because there basically haven't really been that many releases in the last few years. And we have had the Super Star Destroyer, but really, unless you were going to use that as a LARP weapon, big sword or something like that, it's not really that much call for it. It is huge, it's expensive, it's basically going to sit on a shelf, I think. But anyway, so for the rest of Armada that come out this year, it has mainly been the Republic fleet and a new Separatist fleet, plus all the fighter squadrons that go alongside it. So, not a lot really. I know there is quite a big following for it, but people don't tend to go out and play it. It's mainly in people's houses, from what I've seen, like locally and in this region. There you go. And for new players, I've really no idea because I don't play the game. I don't know how to advise about going about building your army. So check out the forums. I think everybody's quite friendly and that on there. But other than that, there you go. So that's the roundup. That's been part 2 of what's come out for Star Wars this year. With that rounding off, although people do collect Funko Pops, there's just too many of those to go into, so I haven't this time. But I hope you've enjoyed watching. Click like and subscribe, and I'm aiming to do loads of these videos, so I'm going to keep everything going for Star Wars. Until then, this is the way. Mando!